Cool. Well, thanks everybody. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for hanging out and kind of weathering some of the stumbles with us. But hopefully this was valuable. I guess we'll find out very shortly if it was.
Yeah, if we're never allowed back on a live stream again, you'll know it didn't work. So, thank you.
Yep. All right. Thanks all.
See you, Howard.
If I am ever playing Guild Wars 2, you see me on.
Right, which you are a lot.
Which I am a lot. A little bit less so. I've been like really on the Baldur's Gate 3 hype train for the past like 2 months.
Right.
But Guild Wars has my heart, you know, it always has, and it always will.
Oh yeah. When they were saying like some people have like 5,000 hours, you got like more than that, right? You got like
I am closing in on 16,000 hours.
Right, jeez. Yeah, it is your home.
it is my home. And it's where I met like so many people. I met Yalith, I met Seth, Sassy, you, like so many people. Brier, Excel, my husband.
Oh yeah, most important.
So like it's there. It's always, there's always stuff that I want to do in Guild Wars. But exciting. Many years to come. Like they said multiple times, 5 to 10 years of content.
Right.
They're wanting to do, which is great. In another video they did say like 15 years. So hopefully, you know, as long as people are playing the games. Like I don't know what they're gonna consider people not playing. That would result in them shutting down a game or the studio or anything. But like honestly, the love that people have for Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2 is ridiculous. I am one of those crazy ass people. Sassy is also one of those crazy ass people. 18,000 hours. Sassy being on the top 1,000 NA leaderboard with me and being in the top 300.
Wow.
I'm in the top 850.
Among millions and millions. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's wild. But you know, that's been a long-term goal of mine, and I hit it in September of last year. And I've been consistently staying in the top 1,000. Yeah. See, I don't do that because usually when I'm traveling with the people I play with. Usually. But now I'll be able to play Guild Wars 1 on my phone. It's gonna be great. We're gonna need to start calling it GWR instead of Guild Wars 1.
GWR. Oof.
Guild Wars Reforged.
Oof. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be Guild Wars, or you know, Guild Wars 1 or GW1 for everybody forever. They're never gonna, even they couldn't stop saying Guild Wars 1.
I mean, is it really that important to call it Reforged? Like, no matter what, even if you download like the wrong client, it just upgrades you to Reforged, right?
Yeah, there is no wrong client anymore. If you download Guild Wars 1, it downloads Guild Wars Reforged.
Right. I had friends who were like uninstalling Guild Wars 1 and preparing for Guild Wars Reforged.
Oh no!
Yeah, and they're like, oh no, everyone's already logging in. Why am I still downloading? I'm glad I was just lazy.
Wait, what was the question about Guild Wars 1, Sassy? If we bought, yeah, of course it does. As far as I know, there isn't any Steam exclusive stuff. Like I bought the bonus mission pack, but if you so here's the thing with Guild Wars 1, if you owned any campaign, so factions, prophecies, Nightfall, prior to Guild Wars Reforged, when it swapped over to Guild Wars Reforged, you got all of the campaigns for free. The only thing that you would have to buy is Eye of the North and the bonus mission pack. As far as like Steam exclusive stuff, like I don't even know what would be in that. But I don't have the Steam version of the game, and I have the bonus mission pack. It was available on Guild Wars 1, on the Guild Wars website. This is linked to Steam. Yeah, you would need to get it from the Guild Wars website. Yeah. Yeah, I logged in the day that Reforged was announced, that it was like going live, and then I haven't logged in since. But I've had Guild Wars 1 downloaded since I got this computer. So like 4 years. And also, I know a crap ton of people who still log in to Guild Wars 1, not every day, but monthly to play, do festivals and do dungeons and all sorts of stuff. Also, your question about Bram, who likes Bram? Lorenity likes Bram. I am indifferent on Bram. He's an annoying little shit, but also he's 16 when you meet him. So you kind of have to give him a little bit of grace, but he's an annoying teenage boy. I don't know what you want from me. Welcome back, Brier.
Thank you. I apologize for having to disappear on you all. I had some real life stuff that suddenly popped up.
All good.
But
All good.
Not that this isn't real life or like slightly superior, but you know.
So
Wow,
I think, Brier, at some point we're going to take Peter through all of the updated Guild Wars 2 stuff.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Because you don't even know what the Wizard Vault is.
Right.
Oh my
I've only seen it
God.
from like miles and miles. Oh wait, the Wizard's Vault. Oh, I thought you were talking about the tower. I do know the Wizard's Vault. I should be at least logging in to get 1 gold every day. I know, but I haven't.
No. Okay, so they got rid of the daily logging calendar for the gold. So now, like when you do, they have dailies and weeklies and specials that are part of the Wizard Vault, and it's kind of like a battle pass kind of thing.
Right.
Only you get to choose what you want out of it. So every daily you
It's
complete,
also
every
way nicer
weekly
than
you
a battle
complete.
pass.
Yeah, and every like bonus special thing that you complete, which is usually like related to the latest release, and they add one every week for the first like 6 weeks of a release, and then also add things to that for festivals. You get astral acclaim, and then you use your astral acclaim to buy things from the Wizard Vault.
Okay. It was I'm not sure if anything has changed since like I last looked at it, around the release of the re-release of Reforged or Guild Wars 1 or whatever, right? But at that time it was kind of annoying me because it was giving me objectives in the expansions and I was not ready to like go there yet. I didn't want to like play things out of order. I do know that there's kind of like a filter thing, but yeah, but it
So
was
there's
great.
a filter for PvE, PvP, and World versus World, but it looks at your account, and if you own that expansion, it can include things.
Yeah, that kind of felt like a kick in the butt, maybe, sort of, in a way, where it's like, okay, I bought these expansions on sale, and now I'm kind of punished that I can't like do enough of the goals each day, unless I just like kind of get lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I will. Okay, this is unrelated to anything at all whatsoever. I want to play as Largos in Guild Wars 3. I have my cute Sylvari Largos, who is currently on my screen. Look at how fucking cute she is, and I gave her a Largos name, and she has her hot Largos mini-man with her.
Oh my goodness.
I want to play as the Deep Sea Elf Assassins.
Oh, I see you.
Let me have it. Let me have it. Especially when we found out who Bubbles is. I'm like, oh, so this changes all of our assumptions about what happened under the sea. Give me my Deep Sea Elf Assassins, please and thank you. Especially because this will happen before before Tyrion's anyway know of the existence of the Sylvari. At least maybe. Because there are no Sylvari in Guild Wars 1.
Correct.
And we don't know, like, we see the pale tree and like the little sproutling of the pale tree in Guild Wars 1. But, and I mean, I don't know, maybe there's other trees somewhere else that Tyrians don't know about that they can, like, retcon into the game. But, like,
I mean, we know for sure that there are other pale trees because the Sylvari storyline has you meet somebody from a different.
Yeah, but
tree.
We don't know at what point in the timeline that Mordremoth is like, I have an idea.
I mean, so we're talking 1200 years before the events of Guild Wars 1 for Guild Wars 3. So this is going to be around the time that Abaddon released magic to the races of Tyria. They had their big battle and the desolation was created because the Crystal Sea burned away. So I think this is mostly going to be centered around the exodus of the gods.
That I would love to see that. I also really want to see, what is that, like, weird? Anyway, I really want to see how ArenaNet, like, I want to see the gods. I want to see all of them.
Yeah, I think we are going to see them. I think we are going to see all of them. Yeah. I mean, one of the concept art pieces that's on the Guild Wars 3 website is a picture of Balthasar.
Yes. So yes, okay. I particularly want to see Dwayna, Melandra. Well, I guess they're the only ones we haven't seen. Dwayna and Ilya and Liss. Melandra would be dope too. But I'm curious, like, what did this lady look like that Malchior offed himself? Like, why did he feel the need to be like, well, I can't live without you? Kafloomsh. I don't know how to swim. Like, how hot is she?
But also, like, he had her at one point in time because he had Grenth. Like, Grenth is Malcor's son. Like, what? Like, dude.
Yeah.
Be traveling to a time where Malcor is actually still alive.
That'd be dope.
Oh man.
I hope he's nothing like Gale.
Just thinking that. I was just thinking that. And I'm like, man, Malcor is fucking Gale.
God, I will. I will go into the game and punch him in the face.
Oh, goodness.
Y'all don't want to see it. I will teleport inside of the game. I will walk directly into my monitor and just punch him in the face.
Peter, have you played Baldur's Gate 3?
No, I haven't, no.
Okay, so Gale is a wizard character who, before the events of Baldur's Gate 3 start, was sleeping with the goddess of magic, Mystra. And then she dumped him. Yeah.
I was getting so confused. I'm like, where is this in Guild Wars?
He fucked Mystra and was fucked by Mystra.
Yes.
Anyway. I have feelings and none of them are good. Hiss. I also really do not like Gale with my entire chest.
Yeah, that's fair.
I cannot stand him.
However, back to Guild Wars 2, Guild Wars 1,
yes,
Guild Wars
yes.
3.
In that
think-
order.
Yes. I think we're gonna see Coden as a playable race.
That would be. Oh yeah, I feel like that's kind of the hint that I've been getting.
There was
From watching. What's it? Just
The
from
trailer?
looking at their like preview video. Yeah.
Yeah.
right. There was something there that was kind of barrier furry.
Yes. I mean, they have to have a furry class now, always.
Right.
People are they're so obsessed with Char, and people are very upset that there's no Char in Guild Wars 3 that we've seen. But like, Char didn't come to Ore until the Cataclysm.
Yeah. It feels like the Fuzzy Wuzzy Bears are going to be the Char replacement.
The
Lowland
cataclysm.
There goes the
Specific.
Sylvari replacement. Look at that. We have you covered, Ainette.
I think now this is just beyond like Guild Wars 3. I think we might also see a Guild Wars 3 expansion that deals with the rising of whatever is in the Unending Sea that pushed the Crate and the Quaggan out of the sea. I think we're going to see that in Guild Wars 3. Because we all thought it was Bubbles, and now we know it's not Bubbles.
What is that goddess that the Quaggan worship? Meligan? It would be neat if there was like if we got to see a Melican and then the Quaggan just took over all the statues of Dwayna because they look similar. I would be down to hang out with the deep sea mermaid goddess.
That would be interesting.
Angel's like, I don't like this idea.
You really want more swimming?
I want good swimming. Okay, so I have several hot takes. Y'all ready? You're not ready. You're not ready for these. So I actually really enjoy conceptually the Guild Wars 2 underwater combat because I haven't seen any other game even that has moving around underwater as an option.
Right. It's as good as it gets.
Combat like that. Yeah, but I feel like that it could be fantastic if they took the building blocks they had and expanded them. Like, I feel like it has the potential to be fabulous and not agonizing. They just would need to put resources into developing that, and they have not. Which I was like, deep sea dragon, underwater combat fixes, maybe. You know what? At least we got a legendary underwater hat, which I'm happy with.
But it took until Visions of Eternity for us to get it.
I know that was agonizing too. But I really, really, really would love to see them make underwater combat as magnificent as it has the potential to be. Because the idea of having like separate weapons with specific underwater skills is really cool.
Yes, but they would need to add more underwater weapons. But then what do you add? Because
I don't know that they would need to add more. I think what they would need to do is they would need to but they would need to adjust the physics for underwater movement. I think you can keep the same weapons with similar skills. They might need to adjust some of the weapon attacks, but I think if you did an overhaul of how underwater movement works, you could then build from there. Because like the weapons that do floating and sinking attacks is a really neat mechanic.
Yeah, I agree.
They also need to make it so I stop getting stuck in the architecture.
Yeah, they also need to make the underwater weapons more powerful because they are weak. They are all weak sauce.
Yes. Oh, yes.
The two exceptions are Ellie
Mhm.
and Ranger. Ellie and Ranger underwater are really good. They're almost as strong underwater as they are above water.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I
But
think if
everything else,
they
NG is
tuned
the
up the
worst.
NG underwater weapons are questionable on a good day. I actually really enjoy playing Mesmer underwater, but again, I'll be zooping around, doing my zooping around thing, and I'll be in the underwater fractal, and suddenly I will be trapped in a wall and just cannot escape.
Yeah. At the very least, I am glad that movement above and underwater has gotten significantly better with the skimmer.
Yes, I agree. I do think there is a little bit more tweaking the underwater skimmer movement could do, but I think that goes up there with there needs to be some tweaking of movement underwater as a whole.
Yeah.
And if they did the overall tweaking, it would by extension improve the movement of the skimmer.
Yeah, I agree.
If that makes sense. Oh, my other hot take, I don't know if you guys covered this while I was AFK or not, was ArenaNet communication, which Excel was ranting about in
Yes.
chat. So this is my experience is not necessarily universal. And I'm going on this based on memory, right? I've been playing this game since launch. It's been a bit. So my recollection of the experience I had with ANET communication is as follows. At the beginning, they did a decent job. They had all these blog posts. They had story blog posts, which at the time, my gut response to that was, why are you giving me story and a blog when you should be giving it to me in a game? Because as a company, your goal right now in this year of our Lord 2012 is you want me spending as much time in the game as possible. Do not pull me out of the game to read something outside the game. Let me experience it in the game so I can then recommend your game to other players and spend money. Give me blog posts when you have developed more of your in-game story. I'm thinking specifically of the Canuck and Ellen Keel story blog posts that were published in late 2012 when they first introduced the consortium and taking over that island. I can't even remember what it's called at this point.
South Sun Cove.
South Sun Cove, yes. That was my sort of emotional response to it at the time. At this point, I'm like, oh yeah, I would love to see story blog posts, but we have like over a decade of in-game story to back it up. In Guild Wars 2 specifically. There was a time, again, I'm going off of my recollection, when they promised a whole bunch of stuff and then went radio silent. And
let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah. So again, my experience was not necessarily the same experience or the same complaints other people have.
Okay.
My experience was they promised a whole bunch of things. They said there was a whole bunch of stuff. For whatever reason, they couldn't deliver. People got frustrated, and then they went radio silent.
Yeah. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I totally get where you're coming from with this, because that was pre Heart of Thorns era, and then right after Heart of Thorns came out. Yeah. Colin way overpromised and underdelivered on everything that he said Heart of Thorns was. Because he said, I remember watching, this was the first time I ever watched PAX West. First time ever. And that's when they announced Heart of Thorns, right? And they gave a shout out to Gamers Giving Back. Like Colin mentioned Gamers Giving Back during that because he was like,
Yay!
Paint Day in like the new rebuilt Lion's Arch, blah blah blah, right? So there was all of that. But yeah, he said that Heart of Thorns was gonna launch with 16 new legendary
weapons. Yep.
It did not. It did not. It launched with 4. That it was gonna launch with 3 raid wings. It did not. It launched with 1.
Oh wow. These are hard numbers, not just like vague suggestions.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did it even launch with, like, I don't think you could access the first raid wing immediately. You had to wait a month or 2. Or am I just making that up?
You had to finish the Heart of Thorns story in order to play Spirit Veil.
Okay.
And then they also said that the story that was happening in raids had nothing to do with the rest of the story that was happening in like Living World Season 3, which was a bold-faced lie because literally everything that happened in Spirit Veil directly related to everything that was happening in the world because we got like the ley line anomaly.
Yep.
And then we got the ley line coalescences in the rest of Tyria. So we got all of that. And then Wing 2 came out with the launch of Out of the Shadows.
Yep.
Which was Bloodstone Fen. And those stories are directly connected to each other.
Yes. Yes.
They both deal with the fucking Mursat.
Yes.
So yeah.
There's a slight nuance I want to toss in that is, again, specific to my experience and the response I had from the people in my community at the time.
Okay.
And that is that we weren't actually mad at Colin for overpromising. We were mad at him for going radio silent because there were things that were overpromised that we were then waiting for multiple years for updates on, and then it came out that, oh, there's no actual movement on this. So one example which happened later and is not necessarily tied to that same time period was finding out they weren't working on SAB. And then later after that, I believe, is when SAB was added as an annual event. But I definitely remember sitting in the inside of the SAB box for the SAB protest. And being real mad about that.
Damn.
But we were frustrated that the communication got shut down entirely, and that there wasn't, because my experience with other games and just the people I was chatting with on the time at Reddit, and even, the people in our groups in the forums, was frustration that there was nothing. Like, tell us why you can't do this. Just straight up say, I'm sorry, guys, So I know that, at the time, there were hints that the reason they shut it down was because people got really mad in the forums. And so they decided it was better to not communicate at all than to explain what was going on or to keep the player base updated. I personally find that to be bullshit.
SAB. Yeah, I don't know anything about like SAB. I do remember like people being very upset about SAB not coming back after that second time that it came back in September. But in terms of their lack of communication after Heart of Thorns, that was because Colin left the studio.
Right, there was a gap there. I remember, yeah.
So
interesting.
Colin had left the studio because everything Living World Season 3, Path of Fire, and Season 4 were all led by, and Mike O'Brien had also left the studio. So both Mike O'Brien, who was the CEO of ArenaNet, and Colin Johansson, who was game director at the time, had left the studio, and Mike Z was in charge. And Mike Z does not like being the front person of anything. So there was like no communication. People didn't know that they had left for a little bit, right? I remember Mike O'Brien doing a blog post about his leaving. And it was because he wanted to create a smaller studio that ArenaNet had gotten too large for him. I remember
that is reasonable. To me, this sounds like an organizational problem.
Yeah, it is.
And
but there was like
ANET
a lot
has
of
always
people.
Yeah, but ANET has also always struggled, at least until honestly the massive layoffs. They've always struggled with organization in terms of their organization. They need some good org charts, and they didn't have any. It felt like they didn't have any.
And you know what changed with that? Colin Johansson and Josh Davis coming back. Mike C leaving. So Mike C left the studio without like nobody knew. Nobody knew for a year that Mike C had left and that we had a new game director, because that new game director never said anything about anything. And then the layoffs happened, and Colin Johansson and Grouch came in because they both left the studio to work on Amazon games. And then they both came back. They came back together. And then the game director, Colin, and Josh were all like co-leading the studio, and then they redefined the organizational structure. And we learned a lot about what was happening with the game once Josh became game director.
Interesting.
We learned that because they announced in 2017 that they were going to do the world versus world restructuring, right?
Yep.
And then in 2018, a year later, we got a blog post saying that they were still working on it. And we learned in 2023, when Josh came back, that was bullshit. They knew at the time of the second blog post that they'd already given up development on it.
That's insane. Okay, yeah, that also lines up with some of my frustration at the game at the time. So it sounds like Colin Johansson and Grouch both got really good work experience working with Amazon, which is very, very structured.
Yes.
So I am actually really glad that they got that work experience, because it seems like it made them better at what they do. I feel like it would have been very helpful for them to have a specific communications department that handles things like communicating with the player base. And so I'm actually, they commented on at the time, like, what, how players get frustrated when they try too many new things. I actually don't get frustrated by that. I remember at the time not being frustrated by that. I did want them to be like, okay, here are things that work. Let's build out some things that work. Because I did want them to have some room to experiment. Because when you get to larger organizations like Blizzard, for example, you don't have that same kind of creative freedom. Because everything has to be hyper structured. It's just such a monolith of a studio. But I did want them to I did want clear communication, like a monthly blog post that even was things like, hey, so we have these 4 ideas and it turns out none of them are working. I would have been okay with that. And I've seen other games where they have a super tiny development team or one guy, and it's like, hey, I actually can't do that anymore. I've tried really hard. Here's why. I'm just not able to do it. And the players are pretty understanding because there is honest communication. And that's kind of what I have wanted this whole time.
I think
I love this game. I'll stick with you.
I think that you are not seeing the average Guild Wars 2 player, though, because first of all, most Guild Wars 2 players are casual. There's not that many, like, hardcore players make up less than 0.001% of the game population. Like 99.9% of the Guild Wars 2 population are casual players that maybe log in once a month.
Interesting.
Yeah.
To be clear,
It's
it wasn't
kind of
like
crazy.
playing by myself this entire time. Like I was running content with other people. I wasn't living, in a silo.
Yeah. And the thing with Guild Wars 2 is that in game, players are generally speaking very kind, very helpful, like willing to go out of their way, especially for new players or players who might not understand how to do something. But when you get to communication outside of the game, communication with the devs, so forums, Reddit, Twitter, whatever, the players are all assholes. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
I remember when Josh had to put out a post telling people that he was going to ban them if they kept giving death threats to devs.
That's insane. I actually stopped posting on the forums because of White Knights. Like, I actually full on left the forums and have not been back. Just
that has gotten better.
Okay, that's good. Cause like, oh my god, I fully switched over to Reddit because of the like low-key harassment I was experiencing when I would do things like ask a simple question in the forums.
Yeah.
Or make a suggestion, right? Because I think the issue when you come to the realm of White Knights is that the game can do no wrong, the devs can do no wrong, but it also means that if it's perfect, it can't be improved. Right? And that's yeah. Like, absolutely not.
And I think that people I hate the white knighting that does happen in this game. I have been accused of it because, listen, do I think the game is perfect? No, I don't. But if I'm trying to sell somebody on the game, am I going to tell them everything that's horrible about the game? No, that's fucking stupid. Why would I tell them all these things that like other players have issues with that haven't bothered me? Like my biggest gripe in the game is world versus world, right? Because I don't engage with PvP unless I absolutely have to, right? But like world versus world players are fucking idiots, man.
I mean, when I try to sell someone on the game, I try to balance, like, here are the things I love. Here are the things that frustrate me. If you are the type of player who enjoys XYZ, you will love this game. But if you prefer ABC, this game is not for you.
Yeah.
Because I would rather people stay. Like, if I'm going to go through the effort to, like, sell, like convince you to play one of my favorite games with me, like, I want you to stick around.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I'm honest. Like, if they ask me specific questions about how a thing is, I'm going to be like, yeah, there's like, this thing, but, anyways, back to the white knighting, right?
Yes.
I've never said that the game is perfect. Never.
Yeah.
As a joke, I have said perfect game, no bugs, right? But like, that's a joke.
Yes.
Everybody knows that that's a joke. If your game is a live service game and it has no bugs, then they have not worked on it in years. Then you have not received any new content in years. That's how that works. That's how game development works as someone coming from a game support background.
Yeah.
Right? So the white knighting on the forums has gotten better. People are being a bit more realistic with everything that's been going on. But even in the days where I was accused of being a white knight for the game, I always gave constructive feedback, and I was doing that in a time where everybody was just hating on the game, where there were very large Guild Wars 2 streamers just doing nothing but shitting on the game, and that pissed me off so much. I'm not going to say names, we can't say names, but man, did that fucking piss me off. Like, what? Then why are you playing? Why are you playing the game if you hate every little thing that is about the game and you can find no joy in it at all? What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like, to me, that's just that's an absolute waste of space. Like, oh god, listen, I'm too tired for that.
Sassy knows exactly who I'm talking about.
Oh my god. By the way, Leyline Anomaly and Iron Marches soon.
Oh, I already got my Leyline Anomaly today.
Okay. Just sit here in my Firebird throne, which is at like a 30-degree angle on this hill.
Goodness. But yeah, I have been on the forums relatively recently. I think most people in general are being more like pointed with their feedback, which is good. I think that does come with the player base getting older. I sure as shit hope so, because the average like Guild Wars 2 players in their late 20s, early 30s.
That makes sense. If you consider when, you know, who was probably playing when it first came out.
Yeah.
I am really thankful to Guild Wars 2 because it enabled me to break my addiction from WoW. And it is because it doesn't have a subscription. And also just because of how the game is designed, I haven't felt compelled to like log in every day for X hours. Like when I do play, I can play very intensely. I can be a lot. But I also can take long breaks, which is really, really nice.
And even when they were doing content on a 2-week basis, like
Jesus,
Living
that
World
was
Season
so
1,
much.
Living World Season 1, Living World Season, like early Living World Season 2, when they were like, we're going to put out content every 2 to 4 weeks. You would you could log in, do the content, and then not log in until the next time an update came out.
Yep, that's true.
You know, they've always kind of rewarded your time. And I really need them to go back and add the stuff from Living World Season 1 that they're missing.
Yes.
Like the stuff with Canuck and South Sun Cove, and have it actually like be a thing again. That is one of the most heavily requested things that people are asking for.
Yeah.
On the forums right now, on those things that Josh mentioned, is that. Which is like very exciting. Hopefully maybe they'll do it, but that means that we're gonna have like a weird thing with Canuck, because I think a lot of those are gonna have to revoice. Like they had to revoice all the My Trend stuff. So we're gonna have like Canuck with Matt Mercer, and then all of Living World Season 2 through Season 4 with John DiMaggio, and then back to Matt Mercer in Iceberg Saga.
Yeah. Yeah, God.
It's gonna be wild.
All right. So I know I missed the first part of y'all's conversation. So ignore this if you've already talked about it. What's kind of y'all's general take of the live stream? And also what are things that stuck out to you? What are you excited about? What are you sort of anxious about?
Their live stream. What stuck out? Their microphone issues.
Oh my god. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure what I expected, to be honest. I only kind of glazed throughout their Twitter post after Angel told me about it. I know that they were gonna cover questions, but I guess maybe it's too early for the kind of questions that I would be asking, and that's normal,
Yeah.
right? Because the moment I hear about oh, it's set, what was it, 1,500 years into the
1,200
past,
years.
1,200,
Mm-hmm.
then I start wondering where is this exactly in the lore, right? And we were talking about this just on your channel before the interview started too, where I just really want to hear are we gonna see Prince Sturek, right, before he becomes king or something? Are we gonna be there and relive the creation of the Bloodstones and them being
Actually,
going through
yes.
their thing, right? I want to know this, but their interview was so much about
The tech side.
the tech, about how are they gonna maintain all of this stuff. It felt like the same question was being asked in multiple ways, right?
Yeah.
And of course I've only had a glance at the Borderlands thing, so that was a huge section that I kind of went over my head, right? So it's just kind of whatever, yeah. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to, I don't know, I don't know, will I proactively do something with the Guild Wars 2 live? The website has been kind of down, but I do spin up the live stream for old time's sake, like today, right? There was an amazing turnout, crazy.
I know.
I feel like a lot of people, and I feel guilty that a lot of people maybe tune in to be thinking that this is an official channel, because it only has the word live tacked on to the end of it, right? But everywhere else on the page it says that, oh, this is a fan site
The fan
thing,
page. Yep.
right? Yeah. I'm just wondering, is it time to start kind of banking on all the past efforts that I had done before, and all the efforts that my friends had done before too, to at some point when it's appropriate to see if I can get an article or something where I ask them the these harder questions, right, about where exactly in time is Guild Wars 3 gonna be.
They're not gonna say that
what
yet.
are we what are you don't have to tell us exactly what characters will show up, but just kind of I don't know, just
Give us teasers.
is it before or after Exodus? Just give me that, maybe. Just give me that, that.
I'm waiting for
Right.
the answer to be both.
Oh, Altrio sending me stuff. Oh,
Goodness.
Arena Collins' comment on Guild Wars 3 is really real. Let me see. Should I just read this post, Altrio? Arena Collin wrote, this was 2 days ago, we're still knocking the rust off at getting out there, talking about a new game. We need to practice being more specific. That's my bad. We sometimes reference number of years to Guild Wars 1 or Guild Wars 2 without specifying, which adds to the confusion. Pretty sure in the lore and timeline video, I even say thousands of years, which is just a very wide ballpark window, and I will likely confuse some where Bobby uses the right timeline over 1,000 years. Whoops. TLDR, our game begins shortly after Gwent becomes a god, before the Exodus or the first Guild War. More info soon. Ah, that's excellent. Okay.
So it's right after Doom. Oh, hold on. I got to bring up the timeline. I gotta bring up the timeline now. Give me a second.
Do you have like a graph or something?
So on the Guild Wars 2 wiki, it's also on the Guild Wars 1 wiki, but the Guild Wars 1 wiki doesn't include the stuff from Guild Wars 2 that we've learned. And I think it only goes as far as what's included in the books. Like that timeline that's included in the Guild Wars books.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, let's see. When did Grenth hold on. Grenth.
I didn't even question like, is every god once just a normal person?
Well, Grenth is a demigod, right? Because his mother is Dwayna and his father is Malcor. Malcor was human. Okay, so we're talking 48 years. Okay, between 48 and 50 years. Hold on. Where's Malcor?
Yeah, thank you,
So
Outro. That's
48
amazing.
48 years before the Exodus, Jasmina becomes the first follower of Grenth.
Let me put on some
This
like.
is before the first Guild War. Hold on. When was the first Guild War?
Let me put on some Guild Wars factions music. Yeah.
So if anyone is around, I would love some help finishing up an achievement, which has been a pain in my ass. Although no obligation from anyone. Angel, how about you? What were your general feelings about the announcement? Was there anything in particular about the announcement that you found to be exciting? Addressing anxieties, etc.
So I think all of us who have been around since like Heart of Thorns and you know, Colin being like the hype train master, I was a little bit worried about this because, you know, that's what he does. He's the hype man for ArenaNet. So I really appreciated that he was more down to earth. He wasn't just like, oh, and this, oh, and this, oh, and this the whole time. Like even in the other interview with IGN that he did, was he a bit like, was he hyping up the game? Yes, but he was also setting realistic expectations.
Right.
So, and the fact that he's been consistently, him and Josh both reinforced this idea that there are 3 separate teams working on the 3 games, and that is how they are going to manage to continually put out new content for all 3 games at the same time really eased a lot of my fears. And there was no promising of anything outside of that, right? There was no Josh saying, oh, we're definitely going to have an expansion every year after this, or you know,
I like having a roadmap so we know kind of what the hope is, but without it being like, you know, we are married to this, because that's not necessary. Just give me a vibe. Tell me what the vibe is.
I've always seen Colin as like he's a hype man, but he's also hype because it's realistically what he wants, right? But that's kind of the wrong mask to put in front of players, right? He can demand a lot from the team, but when it comes to the public, he has to hold back like his honesty, you know, to set the realistic expectation. I remember even being overhyped by what he was telling me about Guild Wars 2 before its release, because I went to PAX East and spoke to him. I don't know if he probably doesn't remember me anymore, but like at that time, I was even asking him like, "Oh, what's what's gonna happen when? Oh, this is okay. This is before PAX East because they were already demoing the game at that point. But at some point, we asked him or people around them to be like, oh, what's gonna happen when your character jumps and you use a skill, right? And they were saying like, oh, when you jump and use your skill, then maybe the skill will like be more powerful, especially if it's like a hammer slam or something, right? And you do it from like a higher elevation. And when you shoot arrows, those you're gonna see where your arrows land. They're gonna like, if you miss, they'll just like land in the ground and stuff like that. It's completely, you know, like physics based and nothing as rigid as Guild Wars 1, right? And the
Which is not
whole
what happened.
and the whole like, oh, our game is not about swing a sword 10 times to kill 10 rats kind of thing, right? If you remember that trailer, right?
Oh my
Um,
god.
And now it's like, well, we auto attack that one. At least we're not spamming it, but essentially it's still happening, right? Those kind of things, like, yeah, really, really, really set my expectations way too high for Guild Wars 2, almost to the point where I end up having a love-hate for the game. Unfortunately, I still do. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Although, you know, Guild Wars 3 is gonna look very next gen, so it's gonna be crazy, I think. Even if he doesn't say all those things.
Yeah, I mean, so far for Guild Wars 3, they have alluded to the fact that it's going to be more like they're taking elements from action RPGs and porting them into the MMO space, which hasn't really been done before. So that I really think that a lot of this is going to be prior to being able to use magic. Because of that. So and even the trailer kind of shows it being a little bit more action RPG as opposed to just a regular RPG, like fantasy RPG, like what we've gotten used to with Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, it's pure crazy speculation on how it's going to be right now. Yeah. I had a gander at the Guild Wars 3 website the other day, of course, and I thought it was very notable that it said that there's a line there that says, you know, either play solo or with friends. And that's all it says, but it immediately triggers multiple thoughts in me to be like, oh, does that mean there's gonna be
Guild Wars 3?
Yeah, for Guild Wars 3, yeah. Does that mean there's gonna be instances, right? If it's very party-like. And I do like instanced content where you're not interrupted by, you know, external outside things, right? Players. The solo part, I think, is also great to hear because they've already been seeing this since Guild Wars 1 where people, you know, the general population kind of gets stretched thin, and that's why I feel like they introduced the heroes that you add to your team, right? They already had the henchmen, but then they added actual heroes, named characters, and then furthermore, and this was kind of after I mostly stopped playing. They added the ability behind the paywall. They added the ability to, I think, bring your own characters along.
Yes, they
Right.
did. I may or may not have paid for that.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
But then they didn't do
No
that
comment.
with, which is a good money strategy, to be fair. But then they didn't do that with Guild Wars 2, right? And I feel like that's kind of a missed opportunity there, because you can, you know, for especially for the RP community, you can create all your own characters, and if you brought them into your own team to be like a band of people, right, and not have to always completely rely on your friends being online, then that'd be pretty awesome, right? And so if they carry, if they remember these lessons going into Guild Wars 3, that might be pretty awesome, right? And this time not put it behind the paywall, right? So that players can further like, you know, enjoy the game the way they want and create the stories, especially personal stories, as we always labeled it in Guild Wars 2. You know, carry that forward in a very unique and customized, personalized way.
One thing that this is one of those, like, here's how a different game sort of does something similar. It would be interesting to see how ANET, like, or if ANET riffs on that or does something totally different. So for the RP community specifically, Final Fantasy XIV has it so that you can place one of your own alts, or one of, well, not an alt, but like a retainer that you can make to look like an alt, as a vendor on your housing plot. And so what that does is, if you're, say, you know, hosting a bar or a dance hall or something like that, you have, and one of your alts is a bartender, you can position them to stand behind your bar and serve drinks, and you can have the character you're actually playing on, you know, RP at them or pretend to interact with them or whatever. Dance clubs and dance halls and casinos are an extremely popular venue for players in FF14, where they will run them. And, like, I don't know if anyone here saw, but, like, one guy got fucking sued for buying a real life billboard.
What?
For his in-game dance. Oh my god, it was so funny. It was so... Alright. So so FF14, it is against the rules to use mods. This guy was running a bar / casino / nightclub in game, which is totally within the rules so long as you're only interacting with in-game currencies. And what he did was he made an advertisement using mods, and very obviously using mods, and bought an actual billboard next to a highway in, like, Texas to advertise for his Final Fantasy XIV in-game casino. And got in so much legal trouble because he used mods. Not because he bought it, I don't think, but because he clearly was using mods, and I think he got banned, etc., because Square Enix takes that very seriously, because, well, in order for them to operate in some countries, those countries have laws around nudity and I don't remember what the word is, but, like, what they consider to be, like, morally repugnant. I get there's a different word that is escaping me at the moment. But so for Square Enix to operate out of those countries, they have to ban the use of mods, particularly mods that change the look of your character. And yeah, the lawsuit was fucking wild. But it would be, you know, that aside, it would be really neat to see ArenaNet do, like, I know that you can have your alts in your home instance, which I love. But you can't, and you can place, oh yes, fucking finally. Angel, if you're online, I need help.
I am not currently online.
God damn it. Okay.
I am deep diving into when when the story is going to take place for Guild Wars 3.
Okay. But yeah, it was fucking wild.
Dang.
Thank you, random person who saved me.
I mean, that just goes to show how well the home systems are and how important they are, right?
Yeah.
It makes me think like you know, how is Guild Wars 3 gonna live up to everything that has been built into Guild Wars
Yeah.
2, right? Are people gonna be disappointed if a lot of the same systems are not like immediately there?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
am very bad at Ranger.
I do hope that Guild Wars 3 launches with homesteads and guild halls at the very least.
Do
Yeah.
you think it's gonna be like still these like big fantastical kind of worlds, not just like Wild West campsite kind of thing? Because we're talking about the early days of Tyrian civilization here, right?
I mean, he did say high fantasy, which to me almost always is like magic. But I also like, I love Guild Wars 2, but I've always wanted like a more high fantasy, read Lord of the Rings styled MMO that is not actual Lotro, because the paywall to play any part of Lotro is insane. At least it was last I checked. But yeah, I am so excited about that. The people have come out of the woodwork. This is excellent. Fuck this evil bear thing.
Fuck this evil bear thing. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But when I think
Yep.
about some of the recent game offerings, recently I noticed like Path of Exiles 2. At the beginning of the game, you start off at a camp where the structures are just sticks and straws, and that's where you're hanging out. But then by Act 4, you actually get to like a city that has bricked sidewalks and industrialization. Another game kind of similar is Red Dead Redemption, right? So like the Wild West, and that game first introduces you to just like a rolling caravan of you know, misfits, and so they're just living off the land. But then you get to like some small towns, and then you see like, oh, there's these big cities and there's trains and everything. It would be cool for Guild Wars 3 to maybe kind of be a bit like you know, very naturey, very like outback kind of free ren kind of thing for the anime watchers, you understand, right? Like very like on the
I
go.
think it's gonna be.
And eventually you come across these massive civilizations, right?
I mean,
That are
so the thing is, at this point in time, Ara is already established as a city, right? It was a city before even the gods took it over. Like, so there was that. But if this is right after Grunth became a god. You're talking the gods have been in Ara for around 600 years. So their city is going to be a city. It's probably going to be like the new hub, right? But all the rest of War is probably going to be like that wild jungle.
right.
Maybe some temples, like here, not temples, but you know, places like the Henge of Dinravi, you know?
I mean, it is important to remember that the ancients did have cities, and even like some really neat technology, but it was not mass produced in the same way that the Industrial Revolution tech is. And so I think you can have a really neat high fantasy world with ancient technology, but you have to be very mindful about how you build it and not build it off of, dare I say, D&D cliches, and really focus on honing, your own world building, which I think generally ANET has been very good about.
Hmm.
That said, avoiding D&D cliches is extremely difficult. So, like, no actual, not throwing any shade, at that. I'm just saying. You have to be very mindful because it is an easy trap to fall into. I really struggle with it.
Oh man,
Sorry, I'm trying to clear out my inventory.
I've got thoughts.
Yeah, share
I'm
your
thinking
thoughts. I want to hear all of them.
there has to be Char, right? There has to be Char living in Ascalon, right? Because the humans drove them out eventually. So aren't they there?
Okay, so
Aren't they just like feral cats just running around?
the humans settled in Ascalon at 100 years before the Exodus.
Oh.
So this is probably going to take place sometime between 100 and 48 BE. Because if it's right after Grenth becomes a god, Desmina became his first follower in 48 BE. So the none of the stuff for Guild Wars 1 has happened yet, which is like when the Char are taking back their land. So I don't think we're gonna see anything to do with the Char here.
Okay, so as in their land has already been taken over by the humans.
Yes.
They've been pushed to the north.
Yep.
So only if we go far north enough from the very bottom of ore, only if we go way, way up there, maybe we'll see Char.
Yeah. I think what is more likely for us to see, looking at the timeline, is we might see the start of the first Guild War. We might see,
can you imagine, like, if they
Guild War?
They do the first Guild Wars, and the game is developing, right? The game is still being made. The crafting systems are still being perfected, right? And then they're like, all right, it's time to build the wall. Everybody's got to start learning crafting now, right? Everyone's got to pitch in some way, somehow, to build this massive giant wall.
Yep. I think we might see Lissa testing the villagers of Bren, because that's where Lissa's temple currently is in Guild Wars 2. Is over the village of Bren. Hi, Razor.
Interesting.
So it depends on how long the game is, right? Time wise. But yeah, if we're talking like right after Grenth becomes a god, we're probably looking at around 48 BE. And on the timeline it says, Desmina becomes the first follower of Grenth. Balthasar assists a human army in achieving victory, and Ewan and his atheist tribe are cursed by Melandru.
Right, Razor. We Altrio just gave us a post where Colin's TLDR is that Guild Wars 3 is set before Exodus or the first Guild War.
Yep.
And so we're speculating what are we going to see? Yeah. that makes me. I mean, I guess, and because I'm playing factions music in the background, Guild Wars lore also says that humans first appeared from Cantha. I guess we don't have to go there. I'm just kind of, I just kind of want to see everything that happened back in the day. We don't necessarily need a story there, or who knows. It could be like a little flashback kind of thing, to just focus on some characters and be like, they're living a tough life out there. There's some family issues, and then some characters decide to to immigrate to the nation of Or or something. I don't know, right? So that we can see like a little have a little window, a peep at what Cantha was, right, before the Jade Seas and all their crazy technology that they have in Guild Wars 2 now.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, if you look at the timeline, there's like up through now in Guild Wars 2, we have like a year by year breakdown of everything that's happened, even kind of through like Guild Wars 1 and the stories, right? The books. But once you get beyond Guild Wars Prophecies, you're having gaps of 20 plus years between some of these things. Like even around like what I'm saying for 48 BE, the next thing that goes further back is at 100 BE, and the next thing that goes forward is at 45 BE, and then after that it's the Exodus of the Gods at 1 BE and 0 AE. Like, there's no information really about this time. So this speculation is just that. It is just speculation. We don't know shit about this game.
Right. But it's fun to speculate.
Yes.
So fun.
And the first Guild War happened in 100 AE. So, and it happened because the volcano erupted and the humans were fighting over control of the Bloodstones. Yes, lots of large gaps for them to play with and fill out more of the things.
What did the Bloodstone look like when it was one piece?
I know. Oh my goodness. Could you imagine how large that Bloodstone had to have been? Because we've in the game, like in Guild Wars 2 right now, we have seen 2 of the Bloodstones.
Yeah, they're just like these ginormous platforms.
Yeah.
But they could be combined into some kind of weird geometric shape. Who knows?
Not anymore. They can't, because one of them exploded.
Okay. But I mean, like, before it was split into pieces, Like, what does that look like? Maybe we get to see it. And that said, like, it'd be great if we don't really, we avoid talking religion on Twitch and stuff like that, but I think that kind of stuff does lead to some pretty good stories and conflicts in games. And so Guild Wars 3 being putting gods back into focus can have those like stories, right?
Also, hi Star, thank you so much for the raid. We're discussing all the things that we know so far about Guild Wars 3 and the future of Guild Wars 2. But welcome. Hello, how are you? How is your stream?
Yeah, like the gacha games I've been playing. I didn't play Genshin Impact for long, and now I continue to play Honkai Star Rail. but they have a really strong kind of tie or reference to godly stuff, and there are conflicts and everything related to that, right?
Yep.
I
we also
really
watched
wish
the
I could
live
play
stream.
those games.
Yeah, I cannot.
I can't
Money
play
goes
gacha
right out my
games.
window.
Yeah, but I
Right.
get to enjoy watching my friends play, and that's
Mm.
fine with me.
I'm not sure
Although the
about
characters-
the elder dragons. You can definitely tell me more about them, but in terms of the gods all being, you know, that category, they don't necessarily like share the same views or sides, right? Some are good, some are bad, and so
Mhm.
I definitely think that leads to lots of potential good storytelling there.
Mm.
Well,
And
the thing with the dragons is that most of them are not really thinking creatures. So you kind of have to. Hi, Maggie. You kind of have to. They don't really have personalities, right? It starts with Zaitan. He's just like trying to corrupt everything and get his servants to bring magical artifacts to him so he can consume magic, right?
Zaitan
And-
felt in the base game anyway, like more like a force of nature than a character.
Yes,
Like it felt like
exactly.
fighting a hurricane.
Yes. And that's
True.
what they wanted. And the dragons didn't start gaining personalities until we get Arene. Like we meet Arene and we start raising her as a baby dragon. We know she's the second scion of Glint. You know, we're going through all of this. And at that point, Mordremoth is also kind of a force of nature, right? He is the jungle.
I kind of felt like Mordremoth felt like there was more of a personality in there because of his cruelty.
Yes.
Then Mordremoth felt like he was being very specifically sadistic with how like he killed or took out some things, particularly like with Fallon and with how Traherne was dealt with. Zaitan did just feel like the hurricane goes where the hurricane goes, but it definitely wasn't nearly as much personality as Arene. Arene was like, I'm a person!
Right. And then we have Kralkatorrik, who was starting to get corrupted, right? So you're starting to see what the dragons are like when they're corrupted. We didn't know it at the time, but we knew that there was something different about him because his movements did seem very targeted. Like just as a whole, even after killing Glint, like his attacks are targeted.
Oh man, Glint dies.
And then Primordus is just a force of nature. There's no thinking with Primordus. He's just the volcano.
Oh my god, Primordus is dumbest puppy ever.
Yes. But then on the flip side of that, you have Jormag, who is like one of their spheres of influence is persuasion. So like Jormag worms their way into your mind and tries to get you to believe and just like believe what they believe and to do what they want you to do, you know, and it sows those seeds of discord while also sowing seeds of togetherness with them. So it's like that's the first time you really see a dragon have like this big personality that you really talk with the dragon that isn't Arene. And then you're just like, oh shit, this is like everything that Jormag is doing is targeted. they know exactly what they are doing and what they need to do in order to get what they want. I mean, the way that they twisted the Char was just diabolical. Diabolical.
Yeah,
Wild.
that was something else.
And then Peter, this is going to be a little bit of spoilers, but and then you have Siwan, who's just like,
it can't be helped.
yeah.
I ugly cried
not like
with
any yeah. Me
I'm
too.
probably gonna forget
Girl,
though,
me too.
so that's fine.
Siwan was just man. She did her best. You know? She did her best. She is like the most thoughtful of the dragons. She is actually a force of nature. She was created alongside the planet of Tyria and like had her job that she needed to do. And when she found that she couldn't do it anymore, had more dragons to help her, and then had to slowly watch as all of her children got corrupted. Man.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Ooh, I might be more interested in getting through the expansions now. That helps.
Suwan is dragon mommy, and I love her.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And then you know, you have Irene, who we watch her grow up. We're like a parent to her, and does not only what she thinks she needs to do, but takes the place of the like does the job that Suwan was supposed to be doing. Man, I fucking ugly cried. I ugly cried so hard during End of Dragons, man. That entire everything about that expansion is basically perfection.
Wow.
The music was good. Suwan's design is beautiful.
Yep.
Absolutely beautiful. Love her.
Yep. Yeah. So going back in time to see potentially the dragons again is going to be very interesting, because at this point we know that Primordus and Jormag are in the Far Shiver Peaks. We know that. And even in Guild Wars 1, like, Primordus is close by because he stirs a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
We have no idea where Krakatork is. We don't know where Suwan is. We don't know where Zaitan is, because the only thing we know was that Zaitan went to sleep under Ore. That's it. That's all we know. And then Vizier Kilbron dropped the island on him, and he didn't wake up for 150 years afterwards. So we don't know, like, we could be dealing with Zaitan coming to Ore at some point in time during the Guild Wars 3 story.
Also, Vizier Kilbron didn't think this wasn't gonna go pear-shaped at some point.
Yeah.
Like,
we also, the only other dragon that we know for sure where they are is Mordramoth, because they are the jungle. Sorry, Brier.
It's okay.
Lore masters are gonna be eating well. Oh man.
Yeah. Yes, I am very excited.
There was a while when I had done all sorts of deep dives into Guild Wars 2 lore, you know, like 10 years ago. And then I realized there is I realized I could leave that to somebody else because I'm filling my brain with different things. And so now I rely on Angel and the wiki.
Yep.
That's good. I'm gonna rely on Angel as well.
Yeah.
I just have like old lore in my head.
Yeah. And I mean, I might be. It feels like some of the stuff has been some tiny things have been retconned a little bit, which I'm fine with. It just means I no longer feel obligated to hold them in my memory if they are going to be tweaked. And also I can, it's like, hey, Angel, remember this? Like,
Yep.
could I Google it? Yes, or I could ask Angel. What's Google?
Yep. There were more than 3 eggs in Guild Wars 1. But I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe that what happened was the Forgotten, when they came to Tyria through the mists and became like servants of Glint, that they took the eggs that they could while Kralkatorrik was pursuing Glint. So I think that all of those other eggs got destroyed and that the Forgotten were only able to save Last and Arene.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about the number of hours I've sat like AFK farming, protecting Blast. I need a barrel. Oh god, excuse me.
Okay, I think I should probably wrap it up here. This was a crazy, amazing discussion. I'm so glad that you suggested this, Angel.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. I'm like, hey, you're gonna watch this and you're gonna watch this. Let's talk about it and watch it together.
Yeah.
I am much more excited. So much more excited than I was, knowing that like one of my favorite games is gonna be safe, and we get new story, and friends of mine who previously have not been able to play Guild Wars 2 will be able to play Guild Wars 3 because of I'm assuming what will be native controller support.
Yep. I also have friends that are struggling with Guild Wars 2 because they're not used to playing with mouse and keyboard. So even if they play it on PC, they will be able to do controller support, like controller. So it'll be a little bit easier for them to play.
Yeah.
So do we want to mass raid somebody?
Let's do it.
Ooh, good idea.
All right. So we have a couple of options. I think most of the Guild Wars 2 streamers that are currently online were watching the stuff. But I do have a recommendation if y'all would like to hear it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. How about we raid Manigon?
Sounds good. I feel like I don't remember who that is.
I don't know who
He
that
is an
is either,
ArenaNet
so.
partner. He is very nice. He's a professional trumpet player.
That's dope. I love that. That is so cool.
Yes. And he starts every stream, not every stream, but most streams that I've seen, he starts by cooking breakfast.
Oh my god. I love him. I don't know him, but I love him.
So
do we want to do announcements?
If you can paste the link to his channel for me, that'd be great.
I'll put it in the pop-out chat here.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I like that you call it the pop-out chat, because I don't know what to call it. I just call it like the bubble next to the voice chat title thing that you click on.
Yep, it's just a pop-out chat though. That's all it is.
True.
Yeah, announcements. So I'll be live tomorrow playing Palia.
Perfect.
And then Brier and I on Thursday are playing our Chaos BG3 run. And then Friday, I have to talk to Atcher, but I think we're going to be playing Ale and Tail Tavern.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
So, yeah, it's like a fantasy tavern edition of Played Up.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. When are the next time y'all are streaming?
tomorrow at 7 p.m. for sure I do my RPG streams. So there'll be that. Yeah. I'm going through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at the moment. But I'll also
You
plug
got Brier now.
but I'll also plug my my Hero Harmony project, which you have your what's it called again? The Fallen of the Coven group there.
Yep.
I've been adding more group features to that.
Yes.
Anyway, Hero Harmony, the website at heroharmony.com is focused on video game discovery and making new friends, finding people who are like the same. You know, it helps you do like the vibe check with people. You know, if you're struggling to find people to play with, that is, or if you just want to find like the next game that scratches the right itch for you in a very particular way. That's the goal of Hero Harmony. So if that sounds like something that people are interested in, please check that out. It is my main focus now, and maybe I can draw from some of the Guild Wars 2 live crowd, hopefully, since Guild Wars has guilds and that's groups, right?
Yeah. Same thing.
For me, so I will be streaming with Angel on Thursday. Art commissions are in sort of a weird place. If you want to have something made, feel free to reach out to me, but commissions are only kind of partially open at the moment. Rio and I are going to have our big monthly co-stream this coming Saturday. It is called Fable and Frame. She plays a retro game, and I paint characters from that game and do a little giveaway at the end of the stream. So you can enter our giveaways using channel points, and then if you win it, I will sign the piece to you. If you don't win, all the pieces end up going on Redbubble. You can buy them as like stickers or, you know, whatever else you want. Phone cases, I guess. And then I'm trying to get back into doing art streams on Tuesday. This week got way late because of this. But yeah, we're working on getting back to it. And it looks like my raid went through, so that happened.
Okay.
Okay, right. I gotta get my commands ready.
If you would like to participate in the raid, I do have some raid messages. Anybody from any of our streams are welcome to use them if you want, just to let them know that we're all coming in together from the same place, doing all the things. But yeah, thanks everyone so much for coming and spending your day with us and letting us live react and chatting with us. We love it. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll be able to do a lot more of these in the future. Like anytime there's any Guild Wars news, I'm going to be doing this. So y'all are welcome to join me anytime.
Yeah,
this is
don't be
happening.
afraid to poke me if I'm just like away under a rock or something.
Okay, got you. I definitely will.
Okay.
I love rocks.
Let's go say hi to Maddie, and we will catch you all next time. Until then, stay safe. Remember to be kind to yourselves and be kind to each other. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.